This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And hey, picking out which package is best for you to go to Walt Disney World is not the easiest thing in the world. Sometimes there's lots of different deals out there. You get a pin code in the mail. How cool is that? Maybe there's a different offer going on, whatever it is. A special, always specials going on all throughout the year. But you know what? MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you figure out which package is going to be the best option for you. They're going to give you all the options. They can lay it all for you. They do all that annoying math and let you pick out the best option, and you can make the final decision. Check them out online at www.mousefantravel.com.
I was told there'd be no math.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Wednesday, October 13th, 2010, and this is episode 784 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, you, how about sharing some of those chips?
What's that? Chip, get it?
Wow.
Oh.
I don't know.
Hey, you, how about sharing some of those chips?
I got nothing.
Ellen's Energy Adventure?
Yes.
Oh,
Pre-shows.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow.
Pat yourself on the back for that one.
Seriously.
I'm tired now.
I'm done.
Well, also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, I want to let all our listeners know that Sunday, October 24th, 2010 at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time will be our next live show. And I want to know what you got planned for the live show for your webcam. We see appearance by the cats, new poster in the background. What do you got lined up?
I may have something in the background for that. I've been meaning to put it up in the back, and maybe I'll do it for this show.
Ooh.
Good friend of mine, actually.
Okay. Well,
It's just a tease.
it's a little tease. All right. Also joining us on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Initial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome to the show, Len.
Thanks, Matt. I spent all day last Sunday using jazz hands wherever I went throughout Greensboro, shopping at the gym, the restaurants, and everything. Here's what I found out: my gym apparently has a no jazz hands policy on the treadmills.
No dropping the
is
weights
jazz?
and no jazz hands.
No jazz hands. So it's like wiggling your fingers.
Yeah, and you wave your hands like back and forth with your palms
I'm
open.
actually doing it right now, Newell, so
Yeah.
you can see it. But that's
Palms
not-
open, hands
Yeah,
back.
palms open, wiggle your fingers. And I'm told, apparently, that if you're a cheerleader and you extend your arms, they're called spirit fingers. I don't know the difference, but there's a research article in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. On today's show, we're answering your listener questions. I want to start with an email from Stephen Pierce of the Bronx, New York.
Steve!
Heard of that?
Right, your show rocks. I was wondering, now that the upgrades are underway for Star Tours, what's the status of Tatooine Trader's gift shop? Will the shop be closed during the entire time of the refurbishment, or will it remain open? It's my favorite shop in Walt Disney World. Any information will be appreciated. Keep up the great work. My wife and I love the show.
I love people from the Bronx. They're so bright.
The Tatooine Traders is indeed open. It will remain open throughout the rehab, as far as we know. I mean, maybe a little time that has to be closed for whatever reason, but it's been open. It is open, and for all I know, it's going to be open during the rehab.
That's good, because that's one of my favorite shops, too. I always loved going in there.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's a great little shop over there. They just closed off the walkway that used to be the exit when you get off Star Tours. You're coming on down from that ramp. That's just it's blocked off.
Cool.
Next email's from Jonathan from Tampa. I was listening to episode 782 where you were talking about the score for Soarin', and Scopa mentioned it's on my running list. I was wondering, could Scopa share with us what other songs are on his running playlist? I'd be interested to know.
Oh, that's great. Hold on, let me take some minutes.
All right, go to iTunes. Hold on, going to iTunes. Are we talking Disney stuff?
Whatever you run to, Mike.
All right. I have something that Mike Newell might know. It's called "Falling Through a Cloud." It's from Tarafuru from the East Wind album. It's one of those songs that used to play before Illuminations.
Oh, right.
I have the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Christmas Eve, a night in Sarajevo.
That's an awesome
Yeah.
song.
Let's see, what else do I have? Strangers Like Me, Phil Collins from Tarzan. I have the Epcot entrance medley.
Who doesn't run to that? I'm serious.
I have this is one for Mike Newell. I have Hey a Movie from the Muppets.
Hey, a movie.
I have let's see, a couple others. I have Tapestry of Dreams. That's usually my finale. And I was telling Len for the half marathon, I need to finish my. What I do is I do my race list so that I won't get a repeat unless I go real slow. So Tapestry of Dreams is my last piece of music. It's 25 minutes long. Let's see, what else do I have? I have a few Black Eyed Peas songs. I have,
Sorry.
Let's see what else I have. I have
You have my humps on there too?
You what?
The Alanis Morissette version.
No. The other thing, I have a couple of things from like High School Musical.
We're all in this
I will tell you
together.
and also the High School Musical 1 soundtrack is a really great soundtrack
It really is, actually.
to work out.
That's the only good one, yeah. And the other thing, I don't know if any of you guys know Pat Metheny. I have a couple of his songs, First Circle, and a few things like that. Basically, that's it. Also, a few things from Glee. I like Glee, so I have a few.
Hold on. You started out so good, and you crashed and burned with this list. What happened?
I know. Well, that's about it.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra to Glee? Oh.
I'm a progression runner, so what I do is I have to put songs that go from somewhat fast to faster.
Len, what are 3 songs on your running playlist?
So I've only got a few Disney songs on it. One of them is Hand in Hand.
Really?
It's a great song.
Celebrating the Future Hand in Hand, that one?
Celebrate the future. Yeah, it's in. Well, first of all, I don't know if you know this, but it's all over Mouse World Radio 2 right now.
There's plenty of different. I didn't put them all up there because I thought it would be overkill. There's so many different versions.
Yeah, there's so many different versions of it. And then I think I've got Illuminations on there, and I think that's it.
Too slow for me.
But it builds actually.
It builds,
so
yeah.
It's a good warm up. But other than that, I've got. So I'll just read some sample ones. I've got African Bambaataa on it. Planet Rock. I've got a bunch of Billy Squier. Anybody like Billy Squier? Woo, raise your hand.
My kind of lover.
Exactly. I've got She's a Runner actually, and Lonely is the Night, which I saw live and I thought was fantastic.
Lonely is the night.
Exactly.
When you find yourself a home.
I've got
very misunderstood.
Eruption.
It is, isn't it? No, I have very little Van Halen on my playlist. It's, I know. I've got some Chuck Berry. I've got some Cure. I've got Flock of Seagulls. I have this whole British 80s thing going on. I've got some Iron Maiden, some Jane's Addiction, some Jay-Z.
Nice.
What else do I got? I have some Michael Jackson in there. Gotta say it. I've got some Ozzy, some Pearl Jam, some Police, some Queen.
Glenn, do you have Chris Brown's Forever in there?
No, I don't.
How about Carpenter's Close to You?
No, I do have Rupert Holmes' Escape the Pina Colada song though. Swear to God.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've got some Rush. It tells a story. He's a storyteller. I'm just saying. I've got some Sammy Hagar, got some Scorpions, got some. The 2 slowest songs I have, and I have to grip my way through them both, are U2. I've got 40 live, and then I've got Bad, which is a wonderful, wonderful song, and I like the song so much, it's still on my.
Michael Jackson Bad?
No, U2's Bad.
Oh, U2, okay.
And it's just so difficult to run to, but it's a great song. I have it. I've also got so 2 live songs that I think are better live than they are on the album. Newell, back me up here. A Passage to Bangkok from Rush.
Oh, it's such a
That's the best song. We said this on the show before, but it's the best song to have when like you're starting to reach your wall. Like you're feeling like I can't do another mile, and then that song comes on. Oh,
Yes.
great.
Passage to Bangkok live is way better live than it is on the album. And the other one I have is Smoke on the Water from Deep Purple, which is one of my all-time favorite songs.
It's great.
Live is way better than any studio version that they ever did. Anyway, I play that. I've also got some Ready for the World on there, in case anybody likes Ready for the World.
Let's keep things moving here. Back to Walt Disney World. Our next email is from.
Actually, real quick. I'm always looking for new playlist stuff. So post your playlist songs on the website, please, on WW Today.
There you go. Someone who didn't put their name, so whoever you are, write your name next time. Recently, Matt was extolling the virtues of Michael Eisner as patron saint of the parks. I would encourage you, however, to remember the following. It was Eisner who hired Paul Pressler to build California Adventure on the cheap, a move so disastrous that within 8 years, Disney had to commit $1.2 billion to rebuild the park. It was Eisner who slammed the door shut on Animal Kingdom spending so that it was opened as a half-baked park. Instead of the cool, beastly kingdom, Eisner threw together a show and character meeting and greetings in Camp Mini Mickey. And it was Eisner's regime that felt the parks were undervalued and started escalating prices at a heightened rate that continues today. Also, Bob Iger may have hired a suit in charge of the parks, but at least he put John Lasseter in charge of the creative side of the parks. Fair points. I don't think Eisner was perfect by any means, but pretty much everything that Eisner did in the Disney decade, I think, really puts him head and shoulders above Iger in terms of a CEO of Disney that's a friend of the Disney park fan, if you will. But that's just my opinion. Thank you for your comments. Next email is from Kevin from Bayton, North Carolina. Who writes, in episode 675, the group was wondering about being able to get a list of ingredients used in restaurants at Walt Disney World. My son has nut allergies, so every time we eat out, we have to ask about nuts using ingredients, whether food is fried in peanut oil, and whether any ingredients have been processed within 5 miles of a nut. Most places we go to, and there's insert your own joke there. Most places
in Disney World, yes.
Most places we go have no idea that such an allergy exists, but Disney has always been very accommodating. Counter service and food charts at Walt Disney World have loose leaf notebooks on hand with photocopies of ingredient labels for the food they offer. We've never been offered the notebook at a full service restaurant, but the chef will come out to your table to discuss your dietary needs. That's a great point about asking the chef. At the sit down restaurants, I know I have friends who are vegans who they can't have gluten in their diet. And let me tell you something. When we go to a sit down restaurant and they ask to speak to the chef, 9 out of 10 times, the special dish that the chef makes for them looks better than anything I ever got on the menu.
Yes,
this is so true. This is one of the unwritten rules of Walt Disney World. If you have the chance to ask for a special meal,
if you go to a restaurant,
a special meal.
If you go to a restaurant and nothing really looks good or appeals to you, just say that you're vegan or something, or you're gluten free.
Yeah, exactly. I've got this weird thing, and I need a special meal. What can you do for me?
Except the kosher meal.
Yeah, except for that. That was awful.
Yeah.
Those are pre-prepared, so that's why it sucks.
But they do take that seriously. The chef does come out. I've seen the chef come out and talk to the person.
Oh, yeah.
And you're right. They take that very seriously.
Next email is from Jeff Meitzler from New Jersey. Free dining questions. Hopefully Len is here for the question. Can you please go over free dining as it relates to the cost of your room? If I do not want free dining, can I get the room at a discount? Is free dining a better deal with more people in a room? And if you have 4 people in the room, is it a good deal? Traveling with only 2 people, less of a deal. What's the break-even point for people in a room?
Wow, this is a great question. I haven't done this math, but my sense is that the more adults you cram into the room, the better off the free dining thing is.
What's your thinking for that? Share your logic, if you will.
Because you're only paying you're paying like an incremental $10 or $15 to have the extra adults in the room. Per night, and you're getting essentially free food, right? So if it's usually the free dining with 2 adults and 2 kids is a slightly better deal than comparable room only discounts, even when they're fairly discounted fairly deeply. The thing is, kids if they're over the age of 10 count as adults, right? Or 10 and over count as adults, and so they can't really eat all that much food. But adults can actually eat all that food. That's what I'm going with there.
Okay. But Len, would you say though that the payoff kind of ends after you go beyond the moderates? I mean, from the moderates down, it might work, but would you say?
Good point. Yeah. So values and moderates are really where it's at. The deluxe is, it's you can sometimes do better with an AP discount or a AAA discount, or any one of the numerous discounts that Disney has throughout the year. And I think at DVC resorts, even if you're not using points, it's never better than some of the room only discounts.
Cool.
I could totally be wrong about that, but I don't think so.
Next email is from Sue Deenan, who writes, going to Walt Disney World for Easter So we're going to take 2 days to spend in Walt Disney World at the most crowded time of the year, which are 9s on Len's crowd calendar. Yep, we're goofy. With only 2 days to spare, we're planning on hitting 3 parks in 1 day and spending 1 whole day in the Magic Kingdom. I'll have my own car, and we're staying at Pop Century. On the first day, my plan was to hit the studios early, grab fast passes for Toy Story Midway Mania, and also wait in line for a total of 2 rides through Toy Story Midway Mania. From there, we're going to hit Animal Kingdom, ride Everest, Colorado Rapids, and Primeval Hurl. After that, we're going to wing back around and spend evening extra magic hours at Epcot. Hopefully, we can at least ride Test Track, which is our favorite. We're also hoping to ride Soarin', but could live without it if necessary. However, Animal Kingdom has morning magic hours on the day we're thinking of going. I was wondering if it'd be wise to start there, then go to the studios and possibly lose out on fast passes for Toy Story, or should I continue with my original plan? What's your thoughts on this hit and run at the world?
I would take advantage of the morning extra magic hours, but I would get out of there by like 9 o'clock if you could.
Yeah.
9:15, and then you still have a chance to get fast passes for Toy Story Mania.
You'd have one, but you'd be getting one, but it would be for like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's the only
okay. You could do that, and then you could head down Sunset and do Tower, and you can do Rock and Roller Coaster.
But you could always do standby though at Toy Story Mania. It's not going to be terrible at that time of the morning, is it?
Yeah, no. The best time to do standby, in my opinion, is like 9:30 to 10 o'clock. It just seems like you get the initial rush, and then it kind of dies down a little bit. Exactly. I'm not saying it's a 20-minute wait. I'm saying it's going to be like a 45-minute wait, but that's relatively good.
And then that's going to be it until late in the evening.
Right.
Yeah.
A great way to gauge also the line at Toy Story Midway Mania. If you can't see if the end of the line is inside the building, that's less than a 60-minute wait, guaranteed. Unless something breaks down, I should say. But if everything stays the way it should, if the line is you can't see the line because it's inside, then that's generally a good sign. Next email is from Kevin from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Writes, thanks for the great podcast every week. Will Marvin the Unofficial Guide be a regular guest? Maybe he would be able to join the show via Soundboard Len when he's unavailable.
Nice.
We haven't heard from Marvin lately. He's stuck in New Jersey still, isn't he?
Marvin, he's being held hostage.
Marvin.
Jeez, those Marinellis are just...
Well, I heard he doesn't like his new shirt, so I think he's a little upset.
Oh, he doesn't like wearing Primeval 2 years in a row. Hey, what you doing now?
Next email is from Chris from North Carolina. I've listened to the show since episode 1, and as much as I enjoy your show, my wife As much as I enjoy your show, my wife loves listening to Len. Don't get me wrong, she appreciates you other people too. She's forever indebted to Scopa for introducing us to Dole Lips, and she appreciates how much Matt hates it when Len does funny voices during the ad reads, and always notices the sound quality difference when Newell's hanging around a freaking bush instead of running the show. But on Walt Disney World nights, nothing elicits the same squeal of delight like Len's hyper energy and quick wit. She especially likes the Hannah stories. We're taking our year-old daughter to the world for the first time in April, and we love hearing Len's stories like Hannah's first ride in Splash Mountain and seeing what we're in for. On to her question. If we could pick one country for a new pavilion in Epcot, what would it be? What kind of restaurants would you build? What would the theming be like? What attractions would you place there? She says she's interested in everyone's answers, not just Len's, and you should feel free to steal this question for a show idea if you'd like. We look forward to hearing your ideas soon. All right, so what country would you guys Scopo, what's one country you would add to World Showcase if you could?
I think I mentioned this before. I think I mentioned Egypt. I think Egypt and or India. I love Indian food, and I wish they would be a pavilion down there that would offer an Indian restaurant. I think that would be nice to have maybe a model of it would be for India, it would be the Taj Mahal. I'm not sure what you'd have for Egypt. Maybe you'd have a great pyramid ride of some kind. Maybe you'd have the Cave of Wonders or something. Aladdin was from Egypt. I don't know. I guess. So I think either Egypt or India I think would be cool.
Noel, what about you?
I would like to see Australia, I think.
Oh, another popular one.
That would be maybe have some sort of outback type, not the restaurant, but like the area. I don't know.
That makes sense. Len, what's your idea?
So I have two really. Really, there's nothing from sub-Saharan Africa in World Showcase. So any one of those countries would be okay. The problem with that is, if you pick like Kenya, well, that's really sort of Animal Kingdom-ish sort of area.
Right.
Safaris. It's kind of tough to duplicate that. The other choice would be somewhere in South America, like Brazil or Argentina.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Where you could have the pampas, yeah, and there's plenty of food options there. I don't know what you would do for a ride, really, but something cowboy themed. I don't know what you would do there.
Amazon River Ride, gone wrong and wild.
It's always X gone wrong, right?
Right.
You could do a South American thing. I mean, you got Peru. You could do there's a lot you could do there.
Yeah, I like the Brazil or Argentina. I think they're both countries have a lot to offer.
I think so.
Next email is from Edward Phillips of Edinburgh, Scotland.
Edinburgh?
Right. I've only recently started listening to your show since buying the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World in 2010 for me and my soon-to-be wife's honeymoon soon. I was wondering if oh boy. Okay. Anyway, we've got a rundown of the cost when we booked, but we noticed that there was a free item on our list we hadn't asked for called Love Tea. Are we right in assuming that we might be getting some nice freebies in our honeymoon? I hope you can help. Loving the show.
I've never heard this.
I don't know. He says like LOVE space T, like capital T.
It's a code.
He says we've got a rundown of the cost when we booked. We noticed there was a free item on our list that we hadn't asked for called Love Tea. These British people need to start speaking English. I just don't get them at all.
Is it LOVE T?
LOVET.
Where are they saying that?
Doesn't say.
That's that T thing at the Grand Floridian.
Maybe.
But wouldn't it be TEA instead of the letter T?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the letter T.
Just the letter T, yeah.
Yeah.
Love Tea.
So maybe it's a T-shirt.
Well, if you're going there for your honeymoon, you should definitely get those buttons that say, happy anniversary or happy. We're celebrating our honeymoon.
And I know some people don't like the hats, the bride and groom hats. I like the bride and groom hats. Number one, it's obvious that they're there, right? So it's easy to. It's
number two, you may get some freebies.
Exactly.
I wore the pins. I refused to wear the hat. I thought I was just too. It was too much for me.
No, I think the next time you and I are down there, we should wear the bride and groom hats. I'll wear either one. It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. I really don't care.
I'm comfortable either way.
Exactly. We're all good friends here.
Next thing from Tony.
It's not like we haven't shared a room, right?
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
Next email is from Tony from Florence, Mississippi. What's the best cabin loop at Fort Wilderness? And do you think a golf cart is worth $60 a day? We have 2 adults and 3 children ages 8, 5, and 4.
Wow.
So, Len, do you know what the unofficial guide recommends?
I think all the cabins, though, were just on a couple of loops. They're not spread out, right?
Yeah, there's only so many cabin loops.
They're all pretty nice since they've redone them. They're all really nice.
I really can't think that there's a difference between the two.
No, I don't think there is.
Location mean anything?
Obviously you want to be as close as you can to Pioneer Hall. But other than that,
the cabins are only like they're the 20x100 loop of the loops, right? So in terms of like fewer neighbors, right? You would be better off in the 2100 loop because those are the only cabins in that block of the park. So everything else is sort of south of you, and you're also on the creek, that little waterway area.
Right.
Everything else, the 22, 23, 24, all the way up to 2800, those are all just loops in sort of the south central part of the of Fort Wilderness. The 2600 one is sort of centrally located. You want to avoid that one because you've got road noise on either side. So if you can't do 2100, 23 and 2500 would probably be your best choice, or 2700. The thing with 2700 is it's reasonably close to a bus stop, but you're not like you haven't got people all around you.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
And getting to the golf cart, you can rent golf carts from off-site companies and have them delivered to Fort Wilderness.
Is that right?
It's just a lot of money per day.
Yeah, the ones that Disney offers $65. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, it's $65 a day.
It's a lot.
It's more than a car rental.
Yeah, it is more than a car rental.
There is a local company that will deliver to Fort Wilderness. I don't know it offhand, but if you send an email to us, I can get that information to you.
Okay. Very good. Next email is from Charlie from Claremont in New Hampshire, who writes,
Charlie.
Loved episode 681 on traditions. It brought back memories about heading down to the parks, what rides we had to do first, what restaurants we had to eat at immediately, like Casey's for a hot dog. But also got me thinking, what about train wreck vacations to Walt Disney World? Do any of you have horror stories about visiting the world? Things you would never do again? I think this would be a great episode, which would give you a lot of insight into others that could have been, have in common with other people going to Disney World. Trips that went poorly. Could be funny. Thanks for all you do for the Disney community. Love each and every episode.
We did do a show called When Reality Strikes, right?
Yeah.
Where things have gone wrong. And I mean, nothing drastic, thank God, but we've had problems where
we've had a couple of hospital visits, right?
Yeah, I know the the ER at Celebration a little too good, and I shouldn't know. Turn of drugs, I know them all too well too. But yeah,
I'm trying to think of what my worst trip was. In terms of overall experience. I mean,
probably weather related or something like that.
Yeah, if the weather doesn't cooperate, I mean, that'll really. If you go down there and it just rains every day, I mean, or it's ungodly hot and you just can't enjoy yourself. I mean, I can certainly understand that.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, really, other than kind of losing your patience with kids and family and stuff. There hasn't really been anything that's gone really, really wrong.
Okay. Next email is from Howie in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. I've discovered this wonderful resource about a month ago and am diligently catching up on back episodes. I'm also using the unofficial guide and touringplans.com. There you go. We're heading back to the world in early April for our 4th annual visit, staying at the Wilderness Lodge for 7 nights. I know you guys are big fans of having rental car, but have always relied on Disney transportation and found it pretty good. Both of our on-site visits were at Port Orleans resorts, and one each at Riverside and one at the French Quarter, and we found that we had good access to the studios and Epcot, and we're pretty close to the Magic Kingdom as well. The trip to Animal Kingdom, however, was a bit of a hike. So here's my question. If you just consider the value and the moderates, could you pick the resort with the best Disney transportation service, and how about the worst?
Wow.
Moderates. They're pretty much all the same. Values and moderates or just mods?
Value and moderates.
None of them are terrible. I mean, the absolute worst, right, is the DVC. It's Saratoga Springs.
Yeah,
right?
But those aren't moderates, so it's not an issue.
No, they're not. So, but I mean, I can't think of anything where
I think Caribbean Beach is the worst. Or Coronado. Coronado is either second or first. I take that back.
I think they're both roughly equivalent. The thing with Coronado, I think it's slightly easier to get to the food court, but that's not really a transportation question. I think none of them are as good as why don't we just start with the best? The best is probably Port Orleans French Quarter, just because it's so small.
Right. I would agree with that.
After that, for me, I think Riverside is confusing to find bus stops. For me, it's easier to find the bus stops it's especially easier for me to find the bus stops at Coronado Springs because they seem to be more logically located.
Right.
For whatever reason, I can never remember where the bus stops are located at Riverside. That could just be me.
No, I just think Caribbean Beach has internal buses. Once you have an internal bus system, that's a bad sign.
I agree, Matt.
Right.
I think that all the moderates. That's why I think that I agree with you on the Caribbean Beach Resort, but I think that Caribbean and Coronado are pretty close together, almost identical. So I'd say whatever rating you give the Caribbean, you give to Coronado. Though that internal bus system just delays you getting to the parks and getting home from the parks.
Right.
So I think that when you're looking at bus transportation from any resort, you're looking at those resorts that have all the one bus area, bus depot, whatever, for everything, like Pop Century, I guess French Quarter has that, but Riverside doesn't. Is that right? Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have our last email of the day, and that means I'm gonna give Mr. Newell 3 emails to choose from. One gets read today, the other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later. Are you ready, Mike?
You almost forgot, huh?
Yeah, almost. Your options are Age Before Beauty and the Beast, To Scoot or Not to Scoot, Tennessee Parent Thinks Lines is Crazy.
Let's go. Let's be wild and crazy.
Awesome.
Well, last email, you got to read this like, what's the guy who does the telethon who says, crazy lady?
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis?
Yeah.
The telethon guy?
The telethon guy. He might have had a career before that, but I'm not sure. Last email today is from Mark in Knoxville, Tennessee. Love the podcast. Been with you since the beginning. Couple questions for Len about lines. I love it, by the way. But just a couple questions and concerns. Many people give out lots of info on the chat, personal phone numbers, and when they'll be at Walt Disney World, when they're at Walt Disney World, where they'll be at Walt Disney World, occupations, where they live, etc. Any concerns about getting robbed while you're on vacation?
Yeah, I think about this all the time whenever I post my status on Facebook. Like I'm leaving town, but fortunately there are always other people around. I would say like anything, just don't share information that isn't this shouldn't be publicly available. It's difficult to police stuff like that. We do try and remind people,
right?
But it's difficult to police stuff like that.
Mark also writes, also freaky people are out there, unfortunately, and invites to meet in the park. I've seen posts for people to come and meet Mickey. Not cool if you're a parent. Sounds very naive to me. I wish the world was as magical as Disney paints it, but we all know this ain't true. Any thoughts on maybe needing some moderation in the chat? Just thinking.
We do actually have moderators now, so I think we'll address that.
I think with anything, when you're meeting people in the park, it's always good to have to kind of build a rapport first online. If someone is really freaky or whatever, or creepy or has bad intentions, they're not really going to spend a whole lot of time trying to develop it. I mean, they're going to either, but the longer you get to know somebody, the easier it is to figure out if this person has something, you can usually tell something doesn't smell right here. So, work your way up to it.
You can do what I do.
It's interesting.
Go ahead. It's good. No, like, if you're there, you always have an out. If the conversation's going creepy or the person's creepy, you say, "Oh, listen, we're gonna go do something else. We'll catch up with you later."
Right. That's a good point.
That's what I do when Matt's around.
That's what you say to me. Wait,
no, it works on you too.
I was thinking about this the other day though, because I did I did the meet for 86 people or whatever at Mexico, and I was talking to someone. I said, most of the people that I know here, I met on the internet. So it really was. Hey, this is a guy that I met on the internet that's buying me lunch. But so part of it is, you got to be careful, but part of it, you just have to realize that this is how we meet people now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So It's a balance. It's a balance like anything.
Yeah.
That's how we all met too. So
it's exactly, it's how we all met.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago, if you told someone, like your family members, like, oh, I know this person.
I'm going to Florida to meet someone. To meet someone on
the internet.
The internet.
Yeah, they'd be like, wow, that's like expert. That's like picking up a hitchhiker.
Yeah, let me just take a DNA swab of your cheek now, so when we have to identify the body, it's just easier, right?
Oh, God.
Right, but now it's like, now it's perfectly normal, and I really, I mean, luckily, knock on wood, we've had a very good experience meeting our listeners in the park, except for Medina.
Except for Janine.
Yeah. Janine and Medina. Yeah.
Janine.
Well, that's going to do it for us today. I want to remind all of our listeners that our sponsor today is MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And, picking the best trips in Walt Disney World, packages for your next trip, it's not the easiest thing in the world. But the travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you pick out that perfect package. You know what? It's free to you. There's no additional cost whatsoever. So you're only getting added value, added service for the same price you would have been paying if you were doing it on your own. So why not have someone help you with what you're trying to figure out. Check them out online at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For all Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.